Hello friends, welcome back once again. This is day 2 of the Northern Kings GT. You find me chagrined and somewhat shamefaced, having lost 2 and won 1 on day 1. But the good news is that by day 2 I've kind of worked out how to use my army. The bad news is that I have a very, very bad hangover. But more on that later. Goblins is what I took in case you haven't watched day 1. Why would you not watch day 1? Well, because I play terribly. That's a great reason to not watch day 1. The good news is I play significantly better on day 2, so you've got somewhat more thrilling games to watch, I would say, if I say so myself. So they're actually Gungans. Yeah, so again, if you haven't watched day, this is very repetitive. If you have watched day 1, for which I apologise, a quick recap of the list. The list that I constructed before listening to the podcast that was recently released about how to build a good Gungan list, which told me everything I'd done wrong. Anyway, 2 hordes of rabble, a regiment of Luggett gang with elite, the horde you can get of Luggett's gang, which is not very good. Don't take it. 2 big rock throwers, 2 war trombones, a wingit with bombs away. Double slasher with war trumpets on both of them, which is an extra couple of war trombones. A king with the headstrong aura pendant. Double bangits. A whiz with lots of spells. He's got lightning bolt, bane chant, and hex. A decision I thoroughly defend because he used all of them throughout the tournament. He also has inspiring talisman. And then the bang sticks formation, which is too fun not to include. So the principle of the list is to draw people in with the rabble, blow them apart with all of the tiny bits of shooting, and then pick up the pieces whilst flanking with other stuff. It doesn't really work. So anyway, that was my list. A brief recap of day 1. So the first game I had was against ogres, and I got thoroughly smashed by playing very poorly. The second game was against the Green Lady, where once again I got smashed. Quite convincingly, because I just tried to do again what I did on game 1, which surprisingly didn't work for the second time. Oh, but if you are interested in completeness, if not, skip forward a couple of minutes. But if you are interested in completeness, I couldn't remember what happened at the end of game 1. I can now remember what happened. So this was the end of game 2, the end of game 2, right? And I was like, well, here's my slasher. It could have charged into the front of these guys, right? So we were playing, it's a smoke and mirrors, the one where the tokens have values, right? So there's a 2-point token here. Let's write them out. 2-point token here, 1-point token here, 2-point token here, 1-point token here, and there is another one somewhere. Doesn't matter. We couldn't get to those ones. Oh, it's here. There's a 1-point token here. Okay, so at the end of the game, as you can see, I lost very miserably, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to nothing. And I was like, why would I not fly the wingit onto here to cancel out the Beast of Nature, charge the slasher in here, and potentially get a draw if I kill those knights, who are already on 3 wounds, as you can see. Because then it'd be 2 points each. And I couldn't remember, and I didn't remember, and Heath didn't remember either, but I did now remember that this slasher had killed a chariot that was like this in the previous turn 5, okay, because I went second. And at that time, this Beast of Nature and this, whatever he is, mounted hero, had just killed my war machines down here, right? And they had turned around to face this way. And I didn't want the slasher to get rear charged by a Beast of Nature, because it's one of only 2 pieces of unit strength I have left on the board. Actually, 2 of only 4 units. So I left him facing that way. So when it came to turn 6... Heath moved his knight onto this token, and I was facing the wrong way. Now, if there had been a turn 7, Heath could have killed this guy and overrun, or sidestepped, whatever, so overrun probably. But nothing else would have given me any threat. So on turn 7, I could have done this plan, which would have been flying this guy here to cancel out that token, and charging with the slasher. However, I only had 20 seconds left on the clock. I remember that. And Plus, there was no turn 7. So that was the end of that game. So anyway, that's just for completeness in case you were thinking, what on earth? But I did remember in the end. And then turn 3, I had a game against a less experienced player called Alan, who was very, very nice. And he had ogres, and I squashed him. And that was a 25-point win. So that put me up to kind of mid-tables after 2 losses and a very convincing win. 2 pretty good high-scoring losses. I got a 10 and an 8. And that put me up against Nick, who I know but have not played before, and his Varangur. So let's see what his Varangur are like. So he has a horde of Draugr, 3 regiments of Night Raiders who've got bows and the stealthy upgrade. That's very important if you're facing lots of war engines. 2 mounted sons of Korgan, both of which have got the brutal upgrade, and one's got striding boots, one's got drunken ram. Double Snow Fox regiments for chaff. A Magus with Blood Boil, which is what you don't want to face if you've got hordes, let me tell you. And Veil of Shadows. He really leaning into the stealthy here. Double Lord on Frostfang with Snow Foxes to give them 9 attacks. And then Slick Sneers Shriekers. Formation. And he's given a Scythe of the Harvest here to Slick Sneer himself. I'm not quite sure what makes them different from normal horse raiders. I don't really know Varangur very well. But they're pretty tasty. 14 attacks, speed 8, melee 3, and they're nimble and thunder 1. But it's mainly their bows that I've got to worry about. This is a very mixed arms, ranged and punch list. So he's got a lot of ranged attacks here and here. And then he's got a lot of punch. With 2 Lords on Frostfang and double mounted sons. So pretty good. Pretty nice, tasty list. I like it. Let's crack on. So this is our terrain. With his army. It's a beautiful snow theme, as you can see, laid out across it. Apparently it's all pink because he asked his daughter what colour should he paint his army, and she said pink. And he said, okay, what else? And she went, no, just pink. And so his whole army is painted pink. It's rather tasty. It's nice. So we've got 3 forests. 1, 2, 3, height 6. 2 pieces of blocking terrain, height 6. 3 pieces of blocking terrain, height 6. A single hill. And then a couple of walls. 2 hills, another one here hiding underneath the thing. And then 2 walls. Nick chose sides, and he chose this side over here. Which means I've got this big rock in the middle of my deployment zone. That's fine. And we are playing push with 2 tokens each. Push is where you have tokens on your side of the board. There is an additional token in the center, and you get them over the halfway line to get 2 points per token. If they're in your half, 1 point per token that you hold, okay? And this is how we deployed. So, unsurprisingly, do they have scout, those guys? They do, yeah. I thought they did. Night Raiders have scout as well. So here's his 3 scouting units. I was expecting them to scout forward and shoot me turn 1. I am expecting to lose 1 unit per turn to them. That's what happens. Especially when you've got Night Raiders to back them. Oh, not right, what they're called. Slick Sneers, Sneakers. So the Draugr are up here, which is clearly where he's going to stick his tokens. And here's one of his mounted sons. The other mounted sons is over here. I don't know which one is which. This is one of the Lords on Frostfang. That's Slickneer and his Shriekers. And the other one's there. Oh, that's no sons, isn't it? That's some Night Raiders. Or is that Slicksneer? That's the Magus. Ah, that's Slicksneer. I'm so sorry. That's the Magus. The Magus is with the Shriekers. And that's the Lord on Frostfang. Here's the Snow Foxes on the right-hand side. So, against that, I put my fast contingent over here against Snow Foxes because I think I'm better than Snow Foxes. And also, I can come up here and then come off this hill for an extra Thunderous into some of this heavy cavalry. I have amended my strategy, so I've got all of my bang sticks together so they can go this way or that way if they need to, which is what I did in the last game. Worked well. I've got my Inspiring Whiz with them. And then everything else is hiding. So the stuff that's kind of very, very important but fragile, like this Wingit, is hiding behind the hill. These War Trombones are hiding behind this unit. These are the Bangits. There's the King. We've got both Slashers here. And the Rabble here. So nice and simple. He can shoot Rabble. And that's about it with cover. Or he can shoot these guys who've got a dash nerve. So that's a good situation to be in, I think. Here's the loot token. And then, whoa, some close-ups of his little beautiful pink army. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Beautifully done. And that's, and that's my stuff. Still in one piece, surprisingly, which is, frankly, a miracle. And so he scouts up like yay, which is not unsurprising, just enough to be shooting. I put both of my tokens onto the back, what are they called? Lugget gang. Sitting there. These are some nice little loot tokens that I printed. And of course, he's put both of his onto his Draugr, who are just going to shamble down that side of the board. However, I've said it before and I'll say it again, my tactics in push is to ignore the opponent's tokens, and we focus on mine and the center. And that's how I win, which is why I don't win very big in Northern King's Organization. So he scouts forward, and that is him shooting something, I think. Possibly. Well, did he do no wounds? Surely some mistake. I think he did no wounds with all of that scouted shooting. Oh no, because he didn't shoot, because I got turn 1. Ha! Right. Yeah, I got turn 1. So I push forward, so that my cover shenanigans probably not as great. However, it is what it is. So I've come up here onto this hill, so his snow foxes are here. Everything else is pushed forward pretty much. I'm in a position to do some lightning bolting with Jar. Everything else is just sitting in cover, so he can still pretty much only shoot. I mean, he can still shoot these guys, but I don't think they've got a steady aim. Maybe they have. Who knows? And somebody is using rings to show wounds, and you better believe that I complained vociferously. Oh, no, actually, I complained so vociferously, he replaced them with dice. You know, you've got a reputation sometimes. I'm like, don't use rings. They're awful. And he went, oh, all right, here's some dice. I'm like, legend. What a great guy. I said, Nick is a great guy. We had an amazing game. So, 1 wound from Lightning Bolt. Jar Jar, he's there okay. And then he responds like this. So, the Snow Foxes came right up in my face, which gives me a choice, really, along with Slicksnear and this Mounted Suns and these guys, right? I'm nimble, don't forget, and I'm taller, so I can pretty much go anywhere I like, but what I'm doing then is allowing the Snow Foxes to come down against my war machines. That's a choice. Fair enough. Everything else comes around in a nice kind of curve, which is what you want to do. He's got knights on hills, he's got these guys. So this is a bit of a mistake, actually. He's put his horse step raider guys, shooty horseman guys, onto the hill so he can shoot me, but he's not on the hill. So he's still going to take cover from the hill if he shoots anything apart from my slashers. So that was not brilliant. However, wow. So, remember I said I'm going to lose 1 unit a turn? I was correct. So, by pushing forwards, as I did, let's look at it here. Oh, there, right. This unit of rabble is not in cover. In fact, it is the only unit not in cover from everything apart from those horse raider, step raider guys. So, they took 16 wounds, because that's what happens when you have this, that, and 1 more of them shooting at you. 1 unit a turn, that's what happens. You just got to lose it. Into turn 2. So I'm like, well, this can't go on for much longer. Things need to change, and I spotted a flank. So because he'd stepped his little Night Raiders like this, and I was on the hill, let's skip back and have a look at it. You can see here that I have got a hindered flank here. Pretty nicely. So I took it because I needed to shut down his shooting more than preserving my unit. And the other one, the other bang stick went into the Mounted Suns because they're scary. And then my king went into this one in the flank as well. And it doesn't matter that he's in the flank because he's an individual. All that matters is they are not shooting. So these guys aren't very good at shooting. They're okay. These guys are very good at shooting. And I've shut down 2 of them immediately. That's good news. So basically, if you count for he's got 5 units of shooting, 2/5 of it are now out of action. I'm holding up here, hopefully do a bunch of wounds there because I'm not hindered. Oh no, I am hindered. Look at that tiny little. Yeah, I am hindered. I remember that. And besides which, this guy's going to come into the flank next turn anyway. However, I have got my Luggets Horde ready to come in here. And then I've turned the token carry unit like this to take. The Snow Foxes are only going to be able to come down here, and I will always be able to charge them, which means I can drop the tokens and charge them. Because don't forget, the tokens need to be over there, so I don't want to be taking them down here. Everything else is pushed forward, so I've tried to keep all of my shooting this time behind this nice safe wall because I've lost one of my walls. The other slasher has stepped back a little bit just so he can't get charged by mounted suns. Even over a wall, I think these might have been the striding ones as well. You don't want that. That's not great. Maybe they weren't the striding ones, who cares? So that was the charges. And that's what's happening there. And that's War Machine. So, having had a day of pretty rubbish dice the day before, War Machines did 8 wounds in a single turn to the Lord and Frostfang, which is delicious. Just as a last. I think if you take War Machines, you do expect there will be one game when they do that at least once. So there you go. And we wavered his mounted sun, so that's even better. So 6 wounds and wavered from the bang sticks. Only 1 wound to myself. That's great. Really good. The king took 2 wounds to himself and did 3 wounds to these guys. It doesn't really matter as long as they're not shooting. And then we killed. I did 7 wounds to myself, which is extremely painful. However, it was worth it because, wow, bang, they've gone. So there was a lot of 5s and 6s, which means that my hindrance didn't matter. Plus, I've managed to turn to face this way, meaning that these guys can't see me. So we can only be charged by these guys. All right, it's good. So, good turn. Happy with it. Let's see how it cracks on. So, unsurprisingly, the Snow Foxes wang down the board to take on the catapults that have just done 8 wounds to the Lord on Frostfang. Scary. I'm only going to be able to take out one of them. And then Slick Sneer himself decides that he's going to put a stop to these Luggets coming in, killing Mounted Suns. The Mounted Suns back off. The Lord and Frostfang goes in the flank, and Slick Sneer takes on the Horde on his own. That's that. He countercharges the very damaged regiment, understandably. Get rid of them. And then it's crunch time on the other Rabble Horde. The last thing you want ever in Kings of War is a quad charge on anything. It's going to explode. But I allowed it because I didn't have a choice and I don't have enough rabble. So we have Mounted Horse Raiders, a Lord on Frostfang, and the remaining unit of Night Raiders who've now given up on shooting, and everyone is just punching, which is good. I actually want that, kind of, sort of. Unsurprisingly, right, these bang sticks died to the Lord on Frostfang in the flank. Nobody wants that. Boo-hoo. As did the Rabble Horde. I think only 18 wounds, which is surprisingly little. However, squish. Leaves me like, yay. However, look at that. 1 wound from these Night Raiders onto my bang sticks here and a waver. So, yay. So we're in a nice blocking position there, which is great. These guys didn't come in. They just kind of held in reserve. But there's nothing they can do. They don't want to be charged by a slasher, so they've just held back, which is great. The Draugr just moaning their way down the flank there. Turn 3. So here we go. Turn 3, what do? So I countercharge Slick Sneer, no choice. I drop the tokens in the corner here, and I go into one of the Snow Foxes in the rear with these Bangits. The King, who was here, goes into these Mounted Suns to hold them off for a turn. Just needs to do 1 wound. He's not great at that, I'm not going to lie. And I'm really hoping that the War Engines do at least 1 more hit here so I can get a better nerve roll. Where is my King? My King was annoyingly too far away to get over here to give them a headstrong roll. So instead, we took the Slasher, who was over here, into the flank of these Horse Raiders. This Slasher goes into the whatever he's called, Lord on Frostfang, and then I array my shooting like this. So I've tried to put these guys so he can't charge more than 1 at a time. It may or may not work. We shall see. Because it's very difficult when you've got this many individuals and war machines to position with these units who's going to get hit when things go into what, right? And that's... I couldn't work my brain around it, so I just spread them out and hoped, basically. And I'm kind of hoping, a very vain hope, that with the amount of shooting I've got here, that I can kill or waver those 2. Alright, that's the plan. Let's see. So, what do we do here? Oh, well, that's the War Engines blowing up. I did it again, so that was great. I think Jar Jar might have also helped with the lightning bolts. We did manage to kill Lord and Frostfang, which is extremely gratifying. So we only 1 wound to these guys, 6 wounds to these guys, and then I double on them anyway. So disastrous turn there, unfortunately. Yeah, me whinging. This is me whinging about dice again. This is one of the. I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, that might be one of these guys, War Trombones, knocking it out of the park there with 1 hit. That's why I only got 1 wound. Anyway, but Slasher in the flank does for the Horse Raider, so that's great. He's gone. 2 wounds on the Lord of Frostman, which is disappointing. I'm probably going to get flanked here, so mixed results, fair to say, on that turn. However, we do kill Slick Sneer, and because there's no threat here anymore, because I think I've done a wound. No, I didn't. Oh, this is critical. Right, so I kill Slick Sneer with my horde, who is here, and I look at my king and I said, go on, he's definitely going to do a wound to those mounted sons, and I turn like this to face this way, leaving my flank exposed to the mounted sons, because don't forget, kings are not mighty. And obviously we blow up those dogs, and that's him not doing any wounds to the mounted sons, which means the mounted sons could just charge through him because he is not mighty. That's bad. That's real bad. And the Drogo are just wandering down. So in next turn, so he takes these Varangur off the hill into my Slasher. I think these actually were the not the striding ones. These were the Helm of the Drunken Ram guys. So they are now just like Thunder a million. Thunderous Charge a million into a Slasher. Wounding on 2s for sure. And there's the flank. So he takes the flank Horse Raiders and the Lord of Frostfang in the front. And the Horse Raiders, so not Horse Raiders, Night Raiders. So they go into the first Bangit, and you can see because I've aligned to them, they're going to hit me and then overrun into the other one. However, when they hit the other one, because they'll almost certainly kill him, they'll align over here, and they won't go into my War Engine. They may go into my Wingit. So that's what's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure I documented extremely well. And over here, he goes back in with these Night Raiders, but he doesn't see the flank, the obvious flank that's waiting here, which is, I was just like looking at that going, don't tell him. I feel bad, but don't tell him. This guy is not mighty, and people think the kings are mighty, and they're not. So he just went back into the king, and I was like, thank God for that. Wow. We're having a great time, by the way, laughing along, so it's not too intense. These guys go into the other War Engine, into one War Engine, so at least he can take one of them off, because they have been exceptional this game. Good for them. And the king dies. He misses it, and you can see here he's positioned so he's out of my arc of sight. And he kills the horseman too, so we've now got 2 units, pretty wounded units up here, nonetheless. Yeah, so he kills the first Bangit, overruns into the second Bangit, overruns into the Wingit. Oh, and there's a picture of a table. It's nice. But they only managed to do 2 wounds to a Wingit, so that's great. So the Wingit is alive and well and feeling rather spicy. I think it's because they were hindered, because they then hit the wall. So, and over here we get 11 wounds onto my Slasher. Wow, but he's all right. He's still alive. And then 10 wounds from this one. Goodness me. Does he survive? He does. So both Slashers survive the onslaught on 11 and 10 wounds, which is amazing. Honestly, Slashers are brilliant. They're so good. So good. Turn 4. So this is how we're looking in turn 4. Push tokens are on my horde here, but we've got quite a lot of very scary, tasty things here on some wounds. Right? That's important. I've got 1 War Engine left. Oh, did he forget to roll? I think he forgot to roll it. We rolled it later and then it died. We've got 1 War Engine left. We've got 1 Whiz, 2 of these guys, and we've got a lot to kill. And then we've got a Slasher who can pick his targets, and a Slasher who's here. Right? Very close. Very close. So there you go. Remember to do it later. After the end of turn 4, I started to move around. Oh, you forgot your thing. We went back. That is 1. Why is there a dice with a 1 on it? Does anyone know? I don't either. It might be the headstrong roll. Ah, yes. I think he was wavered. He's 16, 18. Yeah. So he would have rolled a 6 or 7. And that's my headstrong roll. So it's me moaning about dice still. What a bitch. So that's my headstrong roll failed. So that's Slasher just going to sit there for a turn. So the king goes into the Magus to stop him Veil of Shadowing, I guess. His Veil of Shadows wasn't very good. He failed it a fair bit. But I think I didn't want him to do it anymore because he had done it the last turn and my shooting was... That's why my shooting was so poor. That's why I only had 1 wound there and 6 wounds there, right? From all of that shooting because it was all stealthied. There you go. Live and learn. We go back into the Lord and Frostfang. He's just based because we didn't fit. The actual model's over there because it comes off. We're going to shoot here. We're going to shoot here. No, that's my horde. Oh, here. And here. With these guys. And we are going to shoot here. We've gone over the wall into this Knight Raiders regiment, and we're going to lightning bolt here as well, and we've got 1 more war machine to come in as well. So I am putting a lot of weight on my shooting in this turn. I am really hoping that my dice finally come home to roost. And then we're going to the Snowfox to finish them off with this unit that's still around. That is the Horse Raiders. So this is shooting from this, whatever it's called, War Trombone. We put them up to 9 wounds and we waver them. That's good. What I needed, in fact. And even better, the other War Trombone kills off the other unit of Knight Raiders. So far, so good. What's more, check it out. So, is that the waiver? That is the waiver. Yeah, that's the waiver. That's, well, all right, that's just him. I put a W token and then he put his own waiver token. I'm like, oh, politeness. I will take a photo. And then a double waiver. Oh, man, boy, what? So the slasher coming back into Lord of Frostfang wavered him. It's Waver Town in the centre of the board. Waver Town, population, Varangur, both wavered. That's amazing. King doesn't do any wounds, though. Useless. Piece of crap. But we do kill these Knight Raiders. Notice, these guys, still very much alive. It's very disappointing. Not going to lie. And so we turn like yay. It puts them just in my front. They are going to be able to charge me, and I've got all my tokens here. That's not good. That's not good at all. So, I would say 2/3 successful. We wavered this. We killed that. Brilliant. Nothing doing here, sadly. Nothing doing here. And nothing doing here. So, yeah. It's all the Draugr, by the way, well over. They're just moaning on down there. It's very tense. It's Nick's game to lose right now, I would say. Into turn... Oh, and we killed them, obviously. So, into his turn 4. Obviously, into the front. Hindered. Oh, not hindered. They still got those gosh darn boots and they use them. I was like, oh, you're hindered. He's like, I've got the boots. And I'm like, wow, screw you. And he kills my slasher. The wizard, knobs off down there, and everyone else is wavered. And he kills the horde. He kills the horde. Very distressing, and he gets my token. So right now, in the beginning of turn 5, I have no tokens. None. 0. And he has 4. 2 in my half, 2 in his half, so it's not great. What do I do with this situation? So just to be clear, what I've got left is a slasher on 11 wounds, 2 war trombones, a wizard, a lug-it gang all the way down here, a wing-it, and 1 war machine. Whew, we've got a lot to do. So here's what we do. Well, the king comes into the Mounted Sons. I'm like, come on, king. At least maybe you can do 1 wound this turn. Don't forget, I have failed to do a wound with the king here. Failed to do a wound with the king here. So 3rd time lucky. The war trombones position themselves so they can shoot whoever the Sam hell they want to. And we go back in with the slasher onto the Mounted Sons. And we aim the war machines here. We've got a wing-it here, a whiz here, and then we've got war trombones. We can see how many wounds we do here with this one. And then we may either need to do wounds here or here, depending on how badly I roll. Right? It's tense, isn't it? Are you feeling the tension? I'm feeling the tension, and I was there. So here we go. And then these luggets move up because they have got their eyes on that little beauty. Come on, man. I hit 3 times. I don't wound. So the king has failed. For the 3rd time. They're not very kingly, are they, Goblin Kings? Pathetic. But you can see that I have shot off this regiment of horsemen. and I kill the Lord of the Frostfang. So I also kill the Mounted Sons. I have the most exceptional rolls on that turn. They're an unhurt regiment. My War Machine hit, this hit, and this hit. Right? This guy's did loads of wounds here, so he killed them all. And then Nick does what he calls a dick move, and I think it's just very clever. Although I did yell at him, say, like that. He dropped one in this corner of his unit and one in that corner of his unit, because I've got a wing it here that wants to pick them both up to potentially win. And I can't win with that on turn 6. Can I? I can only win on turn 7 because he's got 2 tokens down there, and the wingit can only get one of these in the next turn, and nothing else is doing. It's just not going to work on turn 6. Oh, clever boy. Clever boy. There's the Draugr. There's the Mounted Sons killing. So the Mounted Sons then on there's turn 5. Turn 5 is this? Or turn 6? Turn 5. Run through my king into the slasher, murdering him because, of course, he was already on 11 wounds and they are very hitty. I think there was even some blood boil or something going on there as well. I don't know what it was. Yeah, so now I'm in a really bad position for turn 6. So here's what I do. So turn 6, I run my Luggets up like Billio. I grab 1 token and I put my War Trombones like this, because no matter what he does, he can't get this loot token. I'm refusing you this loot token. I'm going to shoot you with 2 War Trombones. I'm going to shoot you with a King. I'm going to shoot you with Lightning Bolts. And, I'm not sure if I can reach actually, but if I could, I would shoot you with that as well. And a War Machine. We're going to start piling wounds on you for turn 6, because on turn 7, you'll have killed 1 War Trombone, but you'll be right out in the open. And if there is a turn 7, I can overrun, grab the token, jump the token here, and win. Ooh! So, we shoot, we do 6 wounds, it's not enough. They are not wavered. And, so he's now, heavens a Betsy, coming over here to try and kill my wingit, who has wounds, don't forget. He's got 2 wounds, I think. See, let's find a screenshot. Yeah, 2 wounds. So he's going to try and blood boil off the wingit, because the wingit is the only hope I've got. Really, oh my god, I'm like, no, please, no. So he does 3 wounds to the wingit. He doesn't roll the nerve that he needs, which isn't that high. Really, it's a 9-11, I want to say, 11-13, something like that. I've not got it to hand. It's not high, put it that way. So he doesn't roll what he needs to kill it. At this point, we were both jumping. My hangover is thumping in my head. I couldn't even lift my head from the table at the beginning of the game. I certainly woke up by this point. And he kills my War Trombone. And look at that. There is a turn 7. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! There is a turn 7. I move the War Trombone like this. And I realise that the only chance I've got of winning is to kill this guy. These are no longer important. I've got this token and he cannot touch me because I'm in his flank and he can't touch me with this War Machine. I've grabbed the other token with the wingit. If he kills me, I lose. So we shoot, we shoot, we shoot, we shoot. And we kill him. And that's the end of the game. And you can see he's killed my War Trombone just out of spite at the end of turn 7. But goodness me, what a close game. What a close game. So I win 5-4 because I get 4 points for those, 1 point for those. And he gets his Draugr down there. There's hardly anything left on the battlefield. Tremendous game. One of the best games of Kings of War I've had in a very long time. Woof! That certainly woke me up. He was like, I don't even begrudge you that. I don't begrudge you that. Which was very nice of him. Superb game. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed retelling that. I got very excited then. Let's move on to the final game of the tournament. So I'm at 2 wins, 2 losses. Oh, my goodness me, I might even finish in the top half. Let's have a look. All right, we're into the final game. At this point, I didn't know. I hadn't looked on the rankings, but I was about 16th, which isn't bad. Out of 40, mid-table. But within grasping reach of, top 10, let's say, if I did a convincing victory. So all to play for, he says, trying to psych himself up. Genuinely, I just had such a brilliant time against Nick. I didn't even notice how incredibly painful my hangover was. It was easing up somewhat. It was easing up for the next day or so. The reason was I had such a bad hangover, by the way, was because I got into a game of something called I'd been to the bar. There's a bar at Northern Kings. We'll talk about it in a bit. But there was a beer called Goblin King, and I'm like, well, I have to drink that. Turns out Goblin King is 6.6%. No one told me till I've had out 4 of them. And then I got into a game called 3-Man with a guy called Big Ed, who I've only ever met at Northern Kings, but he's a drinker, let's say. A game of 3-Man involves rolling dice around a table and, for inexplicable reasons, me drinking a lot. It's like a drinking game. It's a stupid game. And we got locked into this guy. There were 6 of us playing. We got locked into this hell cycle where none of us wanted to say, it's time to stop drinking now. Which I did eventually say, I think it's time to stop now. Because I was going to throw up. So, anyway, moving on. That's why my hangover was so bad. So, into game 5. I played Jake previously. Veterans of my videos may remember the first game at the Stain of Blood, where Jake was the ringer because he helps run it, and he was playing Matt Gorham's Night Stalker force, which he'd never played before, and I beat him. So this was time for him to get revenge with his own army of Riftforged Orcs. It was always quite stinging to play against Riftforged Orcs, as I feel that I know something about them, maybe. So he has got a regiment and a horde of Riftforged Legionnaires. No formation here, they are the plain 14-16 guys. However, he has also got the Reborn Legionaries there. And he's given them Orb of Towering Presence, which is very interesting because it gives them unit strength 4, which is a lot for a regiment. 2 troops of Riftwalkers, a horde of Thunderseers with the Mead of Madness, Hell Strikers with Boots of Striding, 1 regiment of Orklings, the Shrine, and then he's got everything special you can take. He's like, I'm having all of that. He's got a Shrine, he's got a Thonar, he's got a Vodler, he's got 2 Stormbringers and Hellstrike Manticores, which is the correct number of Stormbringers on Hellstrike Manticores, which names I will immediately forget again. 1 with the Blade of Slashing, 1 with the Mace of Crushing. And he takes Vodler, as I said. So Vodler, I think Vodler is a trap. This is the only time I've seen anyone take Vodler. I don't like him. I know Richard Miles likes him. I just don't like him. And I've been having this discussion with Simon, my tournament companion. He's like, you should put Vodler in your list. I'm like, why? He's like, well, because he's defense 6. Well, yeah, but he's a dash 15, which means he's very killable. You just need 5 points of damage and then roll a 10, which is very doable. I just think he'll die, and he's 190 points for 7 attacks. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. Whereas Thonar, legend. Anyway, moving on to... I forgot to write down the scenario. God damn, it was in there. I know why. Because it was... Dominate. Right, this is the terrain. So apologies, I haven't done a slide with the scenario. I'll tell you about it in a minute. It's Dominate. So this was the terrain. We have a lovely hill here. Just the one hill? 2? No, it's not. It's hiding over here. Gosh, I keep doing that. 2 hills. And there's some blocking terrain, and there's some blocking terrain. Just the 2 there. We've got a lake here and a lake here. Or frozen, wherever they are. 2 walls and 2 forests. So quite standard with this nice kind of like thingy here. And Jake won sides, and I sat there looking at that because this is once again within 12. He looked at it and he went, I'll take this side. And I thought to my head, ooh, you're going to have some rock throwers sitting here all game. So this is how it happened. And this is how we deploy. So we are playing Dominate. There's the center. Nice token there to let you know where it is. So in the middle, he's kind of employed in a block as you would with Riftforged Orcs. So these are Legionnaires. These are Legionnaires. And I think these... I'm trying to see which was the inspiring... I don't know. These are the inspiring ones because they've got 2-handed weapons. So that's the Reborn Legionnaires with the Orb of Towering Presence. Those are Legionnaires and those are Legionnaires. There's some Orklings. That's a Shrine. This is Thonar. These are the Thunderseers. Over here we've got some Riftwalkers, and over here we've got some Riftwalkers. That's a Stormbringer on Hellstrike Manticore. Check me out remembering the name. There's the other one. Surely that's not... Oh, yeah. And there's Vodler over there. So the reason these guys are at the back is because they redeploy. That's why. And these are obviously the Hellstrikers. And I have deployed, so I have decided I'm going to use this as a block, and I've deployed entirely over here. So I've got my 2 slashers who are going to be my defense over here, along with this horde, and then all of the shooting arranged behind here. Got my war machines on a hill, and he went, oh, I should have given you that hill, should I? And I went, nope. Here's my whiz, ready to hex all game. And then we've got our Luggets, and then the fast guys over there. That's his orcs, that's his orcs, that's just what I've told you about. So, into turn 1, which I win and take. So 2 turn 1s in day 2, which is very, very thrilling for me. I push forward super hard on the right. Everything goes in front of the hill, because that allows me a nice clear line of sight over here. And I'm going to be bombing the defense 6 guy to prove that he is terrible. Now, he has got some fast flying here. So he's redeployed. So he's redeployed Vodler and the Thunderseers over to here to face off against my fast stuff, which is fine. Not really that bothered. And everything else is kind of a nice curve here, ready to face off this way. And then we do 4 points of damage to him from the catapult. Lads. He spent the rest of the game hiding, which is hilarious. And then I predicted all the fast stuff. By the way, check out his cool laser. Anyway, he's an engineer. So the Stormbringer on Hellstrike Manticore comes down this way. We've got Riftwalkers kind of being chaffy. But these guys who are being hitty, because that's their job. Everything else trundles forward. He spends a long time trying to hide his shrine from being hexed. And I'm like, dude, you're just going to get hexed. Live with it. And Voda then hides behind a hill because he's a coward. And everything else pushed forward. So he's got his Riftwalkers here with the Hellstrike guy behind, which is sensible because he's the one I'm scared of, trying to come kill my war machines. These guys are hitty, but they hit on 4s. So that's what it is. That is lightning bolts from the shrine. So 2 points of damage onto a rabble. Woohoo. Into turn 2. So I simply turn. I'm like, you know what? If you want to charge me, you can charge me. And I leave him a little trap. I leave him a trap of a slasher just sticking out, going, come on then. I want this guy. I don't want this guy flying around the back of my line. I want you to take that trap and come in here. Let's see if he does. I've positioned just outside of his charge here with my rabble. And everything is over a wall anyway. And then I positioned for some shooting later. I didn't get to shoot in this turn, which distressed me somewhat, but it doesn't matter. I've still got my catapults. And over here, I take a flank that I'd seen. So, I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not, but I've decided that the luggers are absolutely rubbish. Oh no, those luggers. So that's the other luggers. Those luggers are quite good. These luggers, I've decided they're terrible, the Horde. And he's given me a flank here, so I'm like, do you know what? If I kill them on that flank there, then I'll be able to reposition across everything. And he won't be able to charge me apart from... And I don't think they'll kill me in one turn, so that's the plan. So we take it like that. And then I back up like, yeah, now this was a mistake from my part. I tried to back up thinking, I'll back up and allow him to charge and then come into him. But what I've done, rather sillily, is allowed the Stormbringer on Hellstrike Manticore to come into these guys. And no one can see. It was really silly. I could have just turned these guys round. Like that, so there was a line of sight, at the very least. So that was a silly mistake. Things happen. So that's the war machine. I think maybe I was hoping that I was going to kill him. Which seems a bit enthusiastic. I do shoot him for 4 points of damage. You can see here the king has gone in behind him into the Thunderseers to hold them off. I don't think I needed to do that either. That was another mistake. So before I charged these guys in, I charged the king around to hold off them. Didn't need to. It's a waste of the king, because the king is really the key to these guys being good. So again, not playing brilliantly. So I do kill them, and then you see the king here, who's done a wound to the Thunderseers. He's going to get squished, and I've wasted him. What's the point? Silly me. And as I've kind of foreshadowed, he comes into these guys, which is annoying. And then he does take. No, he doesn't take the bait. Ah, that's annoying. He ignores my trap. Well, screw you. He ignores the trap of the slasher, and he comes around the side. So I can't see him, but I can turn and shoot him, which is what all of that's going to do. You're going to find out how much fun that is. The Riftwalkers come into the rabble. It's fine. 2 points damage. They're okay. These guys are somewhat more scary, but I am going to be able to turn and charge here, I think. Maybe, sort of. We'll see. I can't remember. That was certainly my intention. So, there was just some trundly forward there. Why am I showing you that? Nobody knows. So, that was some shooting. Maybe that's the shrine still lightning bolting. So, the shrine lightning bolted this 1 point damage. It's okay. Yeah, so they killed the king, wasted him, silly me, straight into the horde, and 9 points damage, which is a lot. Not gonna lie, that's good for Thunderseers. 30 attacks on 4s, 15 hits, crush 1. So 3s. Oh, okay, it's average. It's what you'd expect. Look at me doing maths. 3 points of damage there. They are not dead. They're okay, but they've got no Thunderous Charge, so they're going to struggle without some Bane Chant. Oh. Oh. He's got Brutal, hasn't he? That 3 is actually 4, and then he rolled the 11, and there's no Inspiring. I suck. Really shouldn't have thrown that king away anyway. Whatever. So yeah, that's unfortunate, isn't it? So that's how to turn a mistake into a tragedy. Now I've got a guy that's only good in the back of your lines, right in the back of my lines. Oh dear. 8 wounds there from the Thunder. Well, look, the Riftwalkers, 10 attacks, 8 wounds. Steady on. Calm down with the old rolling. Crikey, into turn 3. So, not so great. We take the Luggets off the hill into the Thunderseer. So I decide, with my rolling as it's been, in my head, I'm going to just overkill. So double charge into Thunderseers. Let's see if we can get rid of them. We've turned around here. So the line of sight goes like this. So he can't see me and I'm ready to, if you come into War Machine, I'm going to squish you. Plus I've got some flanks up here. I'm going to wing at you. See if I can get some damage on. See what we can do. Right? I put the this Rabble Horde right here. This is going to just hold everything off for a turn while I sort out what's going on over here. Everything is obviously going to murder them. And on this side, whoa, that's just showing that. And then on this side, sorry, a little bit blurry, that's a shame. So I've turned around my hideous killing machine. So we've got double Bang It, double War Trombone, Slasher with a War Trombone. And I think pretty confidently I'm going to get him. I wasn't able to make that turn, unfortunately. It would have sent me off over there. So instead of that, I just run through my own unit and stand in front of these Hellstrikers, blocking their line of sight. You can see the way I position things is, their line of sight comes like this. So Slashers being height 6. Everything here is hidden from Hellstrikers. But there's nothing they can charge. Even the War Machines on the hill are hidden from the Hellstrikers. So really the only thing they can do is to fly over somewhere, or fly this way, maybe, or just charge the Slasher. I was pretty pleased with that, given how shocking I was playing on the right. That was a clever move. Just me. And yes, so we blow the living snot out of their guy, and for first time ever, my shooting is good. Even better, check it out. Check it out. I didn't deserve this. But boy, it felt good. So unprecedentedly, a single wing it managed to take out the other Hellstriker. He was already on 4 wounds, remember, and they're only a 13-15. They're very fragile. So I rolled well, and we got him. Yay. That's no wounds. I think that's no wounds from the slash onto these guys, so that's poor. But we do kill Hellstrikers, and then I think, what shall I do now? What shall I do? Because I've got Vodler still cowering behind the hill like the coward that he is. Got these guys, I've got these guys. I really want to turn these guys around, but they're kind of going to die. These guys are a little bit more precious, but Vodler's looking like this, so you can't see them right now. And for reasons that I still don't understand, I run the undamaged unit forward to block him. He's nimble, so it's not even worth doing. And I turn these guys around. I just think, what a stupid move. 9 wounds, they're dead already. Ugh. I'm frustrated at myself. Anyway, so here we are. This is turn 3 or turn 4, I can't remember. But we are cracking into his turn. I've saved myself just through rolling well on these guys with the Hellstrike Manticore guys. So that's good. These guys are going to get squished, and then all of this killy stuff is coming in. Don't forget, it's dominates. They're coming to the right place. I am in the wrong place. And I've just given up some unit strength, and that's probably going to die too, so bad. However, you will notice there's a handy hex token here, because I've begun to hex the shrine and from Jar Jar, and I've continued to hex him for the rest of the game, which is fun. So yeah, everything comes in there. The Orklings wander off here because I maybe foolishly pointed out they can just hide behind this hill for the whole game and still be in the dominate circle, so they go off to do that. The Hellstrikers take the only option I've given them, which is gratifying. Vodler comes into the flank of these guys, but he only does 6 points of damage, which is phew, wow, I didn't deserve that either. However, that Horde of Rabble, of course, dies to all the Legionnaires. And he wavers my Slasher, which is mean. 8 damage from Hellstrikers are good. I mean, they're really good. So, in return, my Rabble that was here... Oh, I think I must... How did I kill him off? I killed the Riftwalkers. I don't even remember when that happened. Does anyone else remember that? Here they are. No, they're dead there. They're dead there as well. I had a great turn the turn before. I killed them with my Rabble. I did! The Rabble on their own killed the Riftwalkers. Legends. Well done, guys. Proud of you. Rabblicious. Their fellow Rabble died, and they then went to repeat the same thing again, so they came to die once more. There is a Slasher here. There's just bases by this point because they're so poorly done. So we are here, so we're going to slash it over the top there. And they just block you off. They're going to die. I do get a headstrong roll here, so I go back into those guys with the Slasher here. And we have arraigned ourselves like this. This guy couldn't reach anything, which is a shame. But we're going to start shooting at the Horde because the Horde is a lot of unit strength. 4. However, he doesn't... I think I'm out of charge here, maybe? Have I not moved yet? I don't know. I think I have moved, haven't I? Because I've moved this... See, again, I've frustrated myself. Look at this, so annoying. So I've gone back in with this 6 wounded unit into Vodler. Vodler's on... I mean, he's on 4 wounds. But I'm probably not going to kill him. I should have done the maths. I'm wounding on 5s. These guys needed to be here to finish him off because he's going to be killing them next turn, I think. That was silly. Didn't bring these guys in. Why did I not bring these guys in? I know why. I know why. And his name is Thonar. So we are arranged 16 inches away from Thonar. That's what we are. Scared of Thonar still, because he is pretty meaty. Really terrifying. Okay, well, showing it again. And there's some shooting onto the Horde. 8 wounds at the start. That's what you need. Oh, there's a wrong screenshot the way around. We've done 6 wounds onto some Hellstrikers. And there is, I mean, it's a pitifully blurred screenshot. It's 1 wound onto Vodler. Pathetic. Pathetic Luggets. I'm ashamed of you. That was not a great turn. I had a brilliant turn and then a rubbish turn. They're grounded. Fine. They're wounded. Fine. I think that was some shooting from war engines, possibly. And they're okay. He's hexed again, so that's good. He's just sitting there hexed. It was so frustrating for him. Rubbish wounds here. Let's see what he does in return. So, on to his turn 4. So, Thonar comes into the choice that I've offered him, which is my 9 wounded unit. He's probably going to kill them. And I think then I'm planning to come and kill Thonar with my horsemen. He takes that hindered charge into my rabble. And then he brings forward his reborn. Head Shrine. Thonar does, of course, kill the Horde. And he overruns an enormous amount. 6 inches. A whole 6. So I can't kill him. He's just there. And Vodler kills off the regiment. So my poor player is coming back to haunt me. Even worse, the Horde of Legionaries obliterates my Rabble Horde. Did I have wounds on me? That feels unfair. No wounds. An unwounded Rabble Horde. Look at that. They've got 8 wounds on them. Wow, he must have rolled out of the box. Must be double 6. I think we're on a 10 and 11. That's high. That's a high nerve roll. Still, what comes and goes. Goes and comes. That's not a phrase. So he killed the Rabble, so that's bad. Things are looking bad. Very bad. Turn 5. What do I do? So I've decided I'm going to pretend this doesn't exist, and I just accelerate as fast as possible across the board. I need to get into the dominate circle. The horses are out of range here, and they're out of range here. So they're okay for now. They might get a lightning bolt, but they're unwounded, so we're all right. I arrange my shooting like this because the horde just needs to die. So I think I'm just going to mass shoot you. Oh! Yeah, the Hellstrikers have killed my slasher. So the other slasher turns, and I do it again, exactly the same trick. I block his view with my slasher so he can't see anything, and I shoot this way. Alright? That's the plan. And I waver them, which is great. So he shoots and he wavers, so that was lucky. Even better, all that shit, I mean, it really is grotesque. I finally got it right, I feel. This is what it should be like with this kind of goblin list. There should be more of these guys. There should be 3 of these, and there should be 3 of these. But it's just so appalling to face because they're so little and so annoying, and yet they will take off a horde in a go. So there you go. Goblins ready. So I kill the horde. Great. He's still got so much unit strength left. You see he's on 20 wounds. That's pretty gross. I was from 8 to 12 wounds in a go. Well, 12 wounds isn't so bad. So on to next turn 5. So he's just arranged himself like this because it's turn 5 and he's looking at his unit strength. So the Orclings are now nicely placed here. That's 1 unit strength. Shrine, 1 unit strength. The Reborn Legionaries, 4 unit strength. And these guys, these Legionnaires, 3 unit strength. It's just so much. You've still got Vodler. He's a unit strength too. So he's wandering over as well. These guys have backed up to force me to come towards them to kill. You can see there's the 12-inch ruler for the Dominate Circle. It's turn 6, so what do I do? So my Watermelon, the Slasher pops up, so he's still in 12. He's going to shoot here. I've run the horses even further forward to hide them here. I have left my flank, or possibly even rear, open to a shrine charge. And then we can see we're out of 10, but in 12, so all that shooting is going here. Thonar very threatening coming towards War Engines. I'm just praying against hope the War Engines manage to hit in turn 6. Yeah, thank you for showing that again, me. So the Water Bone kills off the Hellstrikers, superb. And that's it. So I don't manage to go. There is some wounds here, but it's not enough. They don't die. They don't die. There's no wounds there. And Vodler is still alive. So turn 6 for me is looking very poor. Because I allow that to happen. So he's still hexed. And so he says, alright, I'm just going to charge you then, little horsies. And nothing else matters. And Thonar decides not to go into War Engine. He goes into the Bangers. The Bangers have been so obscene. He's like, no, okay, forget War Engines. Time to die Bangers. Because, look, he's spotted what he can do. Kill 1 Bangit. Overrun. Kill 2nd Bangit. Do not want. And then Vodler comes up to add his unit strength to this huge block of unit strength. This is now 8 unit strength. Which is more than I have. So he kills 1. And he kills 2. Kills 2 and overruns. Right into the middle. 5 wounds here. Does not kill the shrine. So, let's do a quick count at the end of turn 6. We have got Orclings. 8 unit strength. 9 unit strength. 9 unit strength. I have got 1. Another 3 there and a 1 there. So 3, 4, 5 against 9. Oh, it's a lot. And I start doing frantic maths. And I realise if I kill the Reborn Legionaries on turn 7, he'll lose 4 unit strength and he'll go down to 5 unit strength, which will be the same as me. So I just need to kill them and then not die. Any of this not die. But that's going to die, and that's my problem right now, is that Thonar is just going to come and squish them. And I've got nothing to block with. And there is no turn 7. So there is no turn 7. I was kind of frantically doing maths, and that was the end of the game, and I lost. And I don't think I deserved to win, because the left side went very well, and I got some lucky rolls. Jake got some exceedingly lucky rolls as well, but I just misplayed on that right-hand side. Very, very, very silly things I did. I didn't need to do. Again and again, I turn off to turn on the right-hand side. So that's what happened, and that's the end of my tournament. Let's have a little look at some armies and a wrap-up. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, and actually, no, before we get to the armies, let's talk about my list and what worked and what didn't work. So, this is very much a 5-minute shortcut to the Goblin Army review on Page's channel. But essentially, I can see that goblins become extremely terrifying with a lot of small arms shooting. Right, I get that from my list, right, which isn't really very optimized. So what clearly didn't work for me was Grogger's Lug Lads. These guys, terrible. Like really, like at every possible moment, underperformed. Their key issue is the fact that they are unique, which means you can't take items, which means you're stuck with melee 4. So 30 attacks is good. 22 nerve is great. These elements, I mean, crush strength 1 is fine. Brutal is largely relevant because you never do enough wounds to make it worthwhile. So I think the lug lads just absolutely have to go. I think there's a role for Luggit gangs. And, and the Army Review talked about even troops of Luggit gangs as a second line, which I kind of like. It's still a lot of attacks. I think, giving them elite makes them very punchy, but it's not quite punchy enough because you're still dealing with this issue. So, yeah, Luggits probably need to die a death, and boring as it is, you need to put more rabble in because it just needs more stuff. I wonder if multiple regiments of rabble are a good idea. I know I'm drawing little squares there. For multiple regiments of rabble, rather than the lug lads, just to be more annoying things to throw at people, to stop them getting to the stuff that really really matters. So Water and Bones they are spectacularly good. It's just a lot of attacks. They're very, very, very good. The Wingits, fantastic. I just really loathe to make a list with three of those. I think 2 slashes is the right number. These guys, MVP of my whole list. Just amazing. But this is only for this particular style of list, right? Again, Bangits, fantastic. I'm not sure I'd go for 3. I think 2 is good. The Wiz, absolutely. And I think this loadout is amazing, right? I think Banechant, you can probably, if you're dropping Luggits, you might want to drop Banechant. That's just, I don't think it necessarily needs it. And again, so the bang stick formation, I just love because it's so cool. And also speed 10 is so cool. And I wonder, if you're not going to come with regiments of rabble, do you want troops of sniffs or something to shield for them to make them a little bit more effective? Just another little thought. There's a lot there. I think there are goblin lists that don't use all this small arm shooting. I think they're fun. Stuff with mincers. John Guns uses a lot of mincers and stuff, and he swears by them. I don't think there is. They're definitely good. They're just not as good as all this small arm shooting. You saw in the last game against Jake. When you really line them up, they just delete stuff. It's just I didn't quite have the tools to get them to line up properly, and I think with I hate if you had 3 Wingits, 3 War Trombones, 2 Slashers, and 2 Bangits, that's freaking terrifying. It's just going to delete things, and it's going to be horrific to play against. So I'm going to have a little play. I think, the Gungans... Well, another problem I've got with my Gungan army, which we'll have a look in a minute. We'll have a look at the models in a minute. It's nice. When I 3D printed the whole thing, I was very new to 3D printing, and I overcured them. They are very fragile. They snap and break like billio. Generally 2 models per game. So I'm not sure. Yeah. So the Gungans might be not for this world because I can't even sell them because they're so rubbish. But I did enjoy playing goblins. I could be tempted to paint a goblin army. It's a lot of models to paint. So anyway, let's have a look at some of the armies. So, look, the first army, Simon's. Oh, this is my friend Simon, my tournament companion. I 3D printed this model, and I overcured it, and it snaps. This spear particularly snaps all the time. Simon's painting has really come on. I would genuinely, I'm not patronising him at all. It's light speed ahead. I know he wasn't happy necessarily with the bases because he really speed rushed to get this army out, but I think it looks fab. And he did a great job, and he did very well at the tournament. Oh, by the way, where I came in the end. Let's talk about where I came right at the end. This one is Mark Cunningham's army. So people online may know Mark Cunningham. Mark Cunningham. He co-TOs the Shroud of the Reaper tournaments in the UK. He does a lot of the tech stuff behind our UK Masters, but also he's quite prolific. So the Shroud of the Reaper site, if you've seen that site, which has got a collection of like 50 plus terrain maps, 50 plus Kings of War scenarios. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's brilliant. And he's got scenarios for all sorts. He also helped me write my scoring system. He is a great guy. Completely insane. I don't think you mind me saying. Crazy guy. Brilliant. Fun. So this is his Ratkin slave army. And he's built this boat for it, which I think is awesome. Which is pretty cool. Pretty fun. Pretty fun army. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. I do not know whose army this is, but I do like a traditional abyssal army. Flames and stuff. Nice. Very nice. I don't know who you are. Oh, does it say here? I can see Richard something. I'm sorry. I apologise for not knowing whose your army is. Oh, and I do know whose this is. What's your... I forgot your name. Gosh darn. Please forgive me for forgetting your name. We did talk quite a bit. But also, I've seen it twice before. And I love these... Are they lava? What are they called? My brain is failing me. But they're the legion of bloodworms. Bloodworms. There you go. Who's texting me all the time? Sorry about that. So this is his. Jed. I want to say. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I know we talked a bunch of times, and you came to my tournament. I feel really bad. I'm going to stop talking about people's names because clearly remembering this poor. But anyway, his army is beautiful. It's awesome. Such, really creative, very cool looking, incredibly creepy. I really like what he's done with the Reapers and LEDs and stuff. It's absolutely awesome. Fantastic job. This is Jess's army. So you will know Jess from Dash 28 if you follow Kings of War stuff. This is her Frozen army, which is really nice. Very nicely painted and contains actual Frozen characters. That's pretty fun. Plus, OG Ice Elementals. Look at these bad boys. Ooh, that's what I like to see. Great stuff. And here is an Ogre army. I'm so sorry, I don't know whose Ogre army. Oh, it says right. Oh, that's Alan's army. Alan, who I played game 3. Great stuff. Really enjoyed playing Alan. Looking forward to playing him again. Here is a Dwarf army. I can't tell you whose Dwarf army it is. Nope, no idea. Oh, is this the army that Tom Robinson played? This might be Elliot's Dwarves, played by Tom Robinson, possibly. Maybe it isn't, actually. I don't think it is, because it's got 2 sharp. No, it's not, because it's not got enough of these guys in it. I think he had 3 of them. Don't know whose army it is, but I quite like it. Pretty cool. This is Rich's army. It's a Basilean army, which I have played a few times. They're all magnetized. They come off. It's very cool. Really nice army. Very, very pretty. Based not too far from me, here about an hour away. So I play him occasionally. This is the army that won, and this won the whole GT, both overall and battle, and it's an all Elohi army. So if you want to be that guy, this is the army to take. He clearly didn't care about being that guy. You can see it's what is it? 3 hordes, 2 regiments. It looks like he's got is that a dragon or a phoenix? That might be a phoenix. It's 4 hordes. 4 hordes of Elohi. Gur Panthers, 3 regiments for Elohi. That might be Julius. That might be who knows? Elohi. I didn't get to play it because obviously I suck. This is Chris's UK Master, Chris Lynch's army. So it's his elf army, which he was this tournament he was playing as Herd, and he got unstuck. I think he lost 1 game, maybe, possibly 1.5. Can't remember. Whatever. Anyway, might have drawn 1. So it's nice to see Chris. Nice guy. This is another obscene army. Oh god, what's his bloody name? Richard something. Anyway, but it is just an appalling army to face. Very, very difficult to face. You can see that he's just been playing this guy that he lost. The only game he lost. It's 4 hordes of nightmares and then just Ratkin stuff. Very, very, very good army. Very well played. The guy, he's very, very nice guy. Very brainy. Really nice. So that's another lovely army. Oh, you recognise this army? This was my game 4. Very, very nice. And here we have John Guns' army. John's goblins. He did rather better than me at goblins. More trolls and minces and stuff like that. But I think John's submissions, hobby kind of efforts often get overlooked because he is part of Moonrakers, where Andy Marshall is. And I think John is a fantastic hobbyist, and his army looks fantastic. His display board looks fantastic. Really, really great guy. That's such a nice guy as well. So here we have this might be, is this Danny's army? Danny Graves' army? Might be. I think it is, possibly. Anyway, very nice army. I really like this one. Really nice Northern Alliance army. I can't tell. I do know whose army this is. I believe this might be Martin Thirlwell's army. Yes, it is. It's Martin Thirlwell's army. So, I'll tell you how I know it is. because it's got... Oh, where is it? There's an unreleased model. Oh, it's not in the shop. They're obviously taking it off somewhere. But that's the new Void Lurker. Anyway, Martin's a fantastic painter. Obviously works for Mantic. What a beautiful army. Great job. Oh, just so pretty. So disgustingly pretty. And there was best kind of hero model, which is not in this shop, which is a terrible shame. Of the new Butcher Flesh Ripper, which it was beautiful. Beautifully painted. Oh, there he is. He's popped back in. Here he is. He's used his airbrush on him. Gosh, that's coming soon. Yeah, sneak previews. Heard it here first. Oh, this you may or may not recognise, depending on if you watched the first video, Alice's army from Game 1 that smashed me into tiny shreds. This army I do not recognise. I'm so sorry. I can't even tell what faction it is. Could be a lot of things, couldn't it, to be honest? Let's face it. It's cool, though. This is Rob Berman's army. Author Rob Berman, ex of Mantic, and now real person. His lovely salamander army. Really pretty. Very well done. It's just, this photo doesn't do justice to how immaculately painted it is. Just extraordinarily well painted. Very nice. The hobby standards, you can tell. Here's a weird thing, isn't it? If you put hobby scores into a tournament, people really pull their fingers out. Who knew? This is... Is this the army that squished me? This is Heath's army, isn't it? Yeah. The less said about that, the better. Lovely army, Heath. Well done. Good job. Oh, it's just so nice, isn't it? Ah, yes. This belongs to Ed Herzig. Exceptionally good player. I think he came second. And with his Empire of Dust. Fantastically good player. Really lovely man. This is my game 5. Of course, this is Jake's army. Very nice. Old school orcs in there amongst the Mantic miniatures. And this is the army that won Player's Choice. So Andy he's Moonraker. He is famous for his ridiculously elaborate display boards, and this was no exception. So this hoist here was it moved, had motors in it, went up and down. This train track had a functioning train with a mincer front on it that went round and round and round. And it has been said in the past that Andy, his display boards are better than his painting. I would say, for the record, it's definitely not true in this case. It's actually almost a shame. The display boards are fantastic, as you can see, just amazing. But then they overshadow, in a way, you don't almost look at the miniatures. But on the tabletop, if you had a look, his army is fantastically well done. Fantastically well painted, this one in particular. The contrast is incredibly high. It's really striking. I think it kind of sinks back into this display board a little bit, which is a shame, because it's really well done. And he won Player's Choice very deservedly for his amazing work. So well done to him. I would say, though, he bought this as a Ratkin slave army. It's very clearly goblins. What the hell? Is there another photo of it later? I don't think there is. Okay, well, it's just very nice. Oh, wow, fantastic. I do not know whose army this is, and I apologise to that person, but it's cool. Good job. Aha! This is one of the Smith brothers. There's 3 of them, by the way. From Down South, and it was an absolutely disgusting army with 3 dragons, 3 phoenixes, and loads of penitents. It's a Brother Mark army, which did very well in the tournament. Very well, nearly won. But a very good army. Incredibly, we saw the tree. He brought the tree, and I'm like, please hang the entire army from the tree. But sadly, only a couple of eagles. Disappointed. Frankly, you could have tried harder. It's Mike. Is it Mike's? Must be Mike's. Let's pretend that didn't happen. A second shot of Heath's army. We don't do a second shot of the armies that beat me. Surely not. This would be the army that Tom took. You can tell it's all defense 6. So this is actually Elliot Morrish's dwarfs, and the whole army is defense 6, which is hilarious. Came unstuck. It's very slow. We kind of, it's really slow. Very difficult to win with something this slow. This is another Riftforged Orc army. I recognise the work of Mr. Richard Miles. I think it's very muted, this army. It's very a muted tone, but the basing in particular is really very detailed. Really very detailed, very nicely done. It's a really good job. Ooh! How did I miss this army? So these aren't my pictures, by the way, I should say. These are pictures I took from, I got Nick to send me, the TO. And I have no idea whose army this is, but it's really cool. I didn't even see it on the day. Wow. I really like that. How cool is that? Man, is that real plants? I don't know. Another one. Oh, I did see this one. Another very cool army. I think I gave this one of my painting votes because I liked it so much. This is a really nice. This doesn't do justice to how bright the colours are. This is another one of Alistair's. Yeah. No, this is a great army. So I spent a long time talking to John. I think John. Man, I really need to work on names in my memory, or at least, the very least, remember them beforehand. Paul, John, Paul. Shit. Sorry, buddy. I know you're gonna shout at me. Please shout at me later, or mention if you want your name mentioned against his army, which is so nice. He said he's incredibly mainly been playing on Universal Battle. With this Trident Round army, which you can see is so pretty, and this incredible kind of beach effect on it. It's kind of like a painting. The whole thing is like a beautiful painting. But he's taken forever to paint. He says he's a really slow painter. So he's finally got it done, so hoping now to come to more events. Double Coral Giants. No, thank you. Please don't come to any of the events that I'm in. It's horrible to face. But a beautiful army. I'm going to really be so annoyed that I didn't get your name into my head before I did this battle report. And it's not because you're not memorable, it's because I am stupid. Okay. I don't... Is this another... I think this is a Riftforged Orc army by the look of it. Or maybe it's just ogres. Oh, it's ogres, isn't it? Very clearly ogres. What am I talking about? Very obviously ogres. This... I know whose army this is. I know whose army this is. Oh, wait, no, it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson. That's who it is. Oh Jesus, Ben, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You have to forgive me, it's been a long day. And this is Rich Tomlinson. This is Rich Tomlinson's ogres. Okay, good. They're really nice. I like this space wall. Well, anyway, sorry. Remember I talked about Big Ed that got me really hungover and drunk with the game of 3-man? This is his dwarves. Full model count traditional dwarves I'm talking about. And this belongs to Fred. Fred from Denmark, who came over at the last minute, especially. I'm really glad to see him again. And these are his lovely undead. And this is my army! Let's talk briefly about my armies. This is not a very good photo, but this gives a whole display board. I really went in on the old DBW display board. Just so I thought, why not? If you're going to make an annoying army that's going to annoy people, you might as well fully go in. Slight issue, though, is that I drew out the footprint for the display board based on my army, and then filled it with so much terrain the army doesn't actually fit. There's Jar Jar at the back there. So here we go. So we've got, you've seen my army throughout these battle reports, but I just did a very silly display board with a lot of resin in it. Here's a pop fact: is that this resin in the water down here, I put the display board slightly on its side when I drove home. And obviously hadn't cured it or dried it. No, not cured, but I hadn't dried it properly because all the resin leaked out of the side of here and of here down. This goes to show that resin is harder than it looks. But what's really cool is that I made a little hole so the winglet would fit in. It's splashing out of the water. As you can see, I didn't really reference the colour of the water base I'd done on the winglet before I did that. But, thought effort counts, right? Here's my army. Look really close up. You can see how snappable it is. The spear's broken off here. Everything just breaks instantly. But I did work pretty hard on some of these wet blends. I had to construct these from scratch because they don't exist in any model form. So this is made out of green stuff and my son's toys. There's Boss Nass. Him. Yeah, that's very cool. These are the slashers made out of Famba. Oh, these catapults I also made from scratch out of green stuff. Everything else is printed. So the family, these are the things that put the shields up on the Gungan army. So this is the actual model, which I got off eBay. You can see how low poly the model is. I had to really disguise it with paint techniques. And then the other one, this didn't exist, so I just made this weapon up, which is the other half, and I kind of elaborated it a bit, some Eldar type crystals on it and made them look nice. And so they came out really nice. And that's the last one. So they were very kind in giving me Judge's Choice, which is, extremely flattering. So judged by the Northern King judges. I guess it's kind of second place, maybe. after Player's Choice, but I'm definitely not complaining. Extremely flattered that a Gungan army could win Best Army. That's very nice of them. So what did I think of Northern Kings GT? Well, this is my second time at Northern Kings GT. I know that the desire for Northern Kings to run a 2-day Kings of War tournament is lower than it has been. Some of them have maybe fallen out of love with Kings of War, maybe more interested in other games. Certainly the Northern King Con up in November is going to be a multi-systems event. So it's going to have doubles, singles, 1 days, and then some firefight and some other stuff. Dead Zone, all sorts, which I think is very, very cool. They're looking to diversify. I would say, this is pretty much the only 2-day GT I go to. Now I'm running Clash of Kings. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it is it's fantastically well run. It's extraordinarily well. You get mimosas when you turn up. It's amazing. There's lunch on both days. There's even food in the evening, and the guys, they really knocked, for the price, they've knocked it out of the park. I'm fairly certain they're taking a huge financial loss out of it, just to run a nice tournament for the community, which is something they don't have to do. In the evening, the legend that is Tom Robinson, best player in the world, puts on an amazing pub quiz in a sparkly jacket, which is really fun. We were robbed. I just want to say, who could possibly quote pi to that many digits? John Guns is disgusting. We actually came last, my team. It's because of the game of 3-man we played, but I might come later. We had a fantastic time. I could not recommend it, but the accommodation is unbelievably cheap. The drinks are unbelievably cheap if you're a drinker. Just a great event. It's, apart from the bull run events that I run, it's the only event with an overall price. It's got hobby in it, and it shows from the painting. Some of these armies, they really are, not this one, obviously. They really are, a fantastic standard. The quality is so high compared to your regular Kings of War events, I think. There's a really strong argument for putting hobby in your tournaments. I want to say a massive thank you to the Northern Kings for running it. I also snaffled a mug, which was definitely not part of my prize. I'm like, can I have a mug? Really want a Northern Kings mug, so I've stolen one. Couldn't be happier. Loved the event. I am disappointed with my performance. My hobby score, I think I finished 21st in battle, something like that, out of 40. My hobby score pushed me up to 17th, which was very nice. But it could be better. But the list had problems. My play had problems. I definitely didn't really care that much. I enjoyed it overall way more than I would any other comparable event. Maybe I don't know. I enjoy everything. I'm that kind of guy. So brilliant event. Thank you so much to Northern Kings. I've said that about 15 times now. Maybe I don't say it anymore. And we'll see you next time. So there are a number of things coming on Death by Dragons. We have got a live battle report coming up after this one when I've edited it. And then we've got another tournament report. And maybe some Clash of Kings content coming soon. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on Death by Dragons.